Try to picture this. You get out of bed tomorrow morning feeling relaxed, happy, optimistic for no specific reason. Then you go to work with a smile on your face, a spring in your step and a cheeriness in your attitude that leaves your colleagues wondering what you've taken, but you know it's just the real you, being true to yourself, and it feels good. Let me ask you, would you need stress management? Of course not. But then, how often do you really wake up in the morning feeling like this? Stress has become such a common word within the national lexicon that it's hard to believe it was only first uttered in the 1950s when Hungarian Dr. Hans Selye introduced the term after pioneering studies in this field. When you consider that, according to the American Psychological Association, around 75% of Americans experience stress symptoms every month, and around a third report feeling they are living with extreme stress, then it's no surprise it's such a well-used term. If I now tell you that stress causes over half of us to argue with those close to us, and workplace stress costs around $300 billion each year in healthcare, I think you'll have to agree that anything we can do to prevent it has got to be worth investing a little time and effort in. The aim of this workshop is to open the lid on stress in order to help you to understand the many possible root causes and to alert you to the tapestry of symptoms that can arise. More importantly, we will look at the role that carefully prescribed exercise can play in reducing your risk of suffering stress, and we'll investigate a number of specific self-help tactics you can try yourself that are guaranteed to help put the smile back on your face. So, a logical starting point would be to define stress. What is stress? The American Institute of Stress suggests that it's difficult to define it precisely, as it affects us all in so many different ways, and so it can elicit varying symptoms. At the basis of understanding stress is the fact that it's a primitive reflex, the part of your brain that processes a response to any circumstance that causes anxiety is not wholly under your control. Also, it cannot tell the difference between emotional anger and physical danger, and always reacts as if you'd just caught sight of a pack of hungry wolves. So the reflex takes the form of a set of changes in body chemistry which make you ready to fight or to run away. And this is why nervousness and anxiety often show in a fast pulse, rapid breathing and sweating. Of course, the extent of the reaction will vary according to whether the wolves are a smudge on the horizon or running slavering into the mouth of your cave. It's fair to say the vagaries of life in the 21st century imply that many of us lead lives in which stress is inherent in far too much of our normal daily routine, and our bodies are constantly in this state of heightened activity. Now, if this goes on for an extended period of time, it can lead to a number of unpleasant consequences, from feelings of anxiety and depression through various aches and pains to serious illnesses. Some of the first indicators of stress getting the better of you can include headaches, neck pain, digestive problems, frequent colds, and an irregular heartbeat. You could also develop irrational behavior patterns such as eating or drinking too much, gambling, making impulse purchases. Your moods may fluctuate from moments of absolute joy to angry outbursts or even periods of withdrawal. Unfortunately, stress can manifest itself in one particularly visible symptom due to the influence of cortisol, a hormone that is produced in the adrenal glands and is released into the body during exercise, fasting, and of course stress. The role of cortisol is to regulate energy supply by selecting the most appropriate fuel, that could be carbohydrate, fat, or protein, to meet the requirements of your body. The problem is that cortisol relies upon an enzyme found in adipose or fat tissue in order to do its work. So more stress then requires more active cortisol, and so greater fat stores are laid down specifically in the abdominal area. There's no doubt, therefore, that high stress levels can directly affect your waistline. One of the best defenses we have against stress, benefiting our minds as well as our waistlines, of course, then is exercise. So I asked Robert Sapolsky, Professor of Biological Sciences at Stanford University and Professor of Neurology and Neurosurgery at Stanford School of Medicine, to describe what goes on in the brain to make us feel better when we exercise.
Exercise. We all know exercise is good for stress, or good for reducing stress, hopefully. And scientists actually know a ton about how that works. Certain level is insofar as exercise is cleaning out your blood vessels of all sorts of crud and making you more sensitive to your insulin. It's going to help your health, and that obviously reduces stress. But there's some much more specific mechanisms as well. One of the areas you would love to have plaques and stuff cleaned out by exercise is blood vessels in your brain, and exercise is good for that. Also, another surprising thing is when you exercise, you're actually delivering more oxygen and glucose to your brain. And not just to areas that make sense in terms of, there's all sorts of neurons there that have to make you breathe at the right rate to sort of match your energy demands with the exercising, but your entire brain, including parts of your brain that have to do with pleasure, with relaxation, with anti-stress effects. Totally amazing thing is there's a class of brain chemicals called neurotrophins. They're growth factors. They make neurons grow new perky connections between each other and get a whole lot better at communicating and faster. And turns out that exercise causes your brain cells to make more of these things. Finally, in terms of the nuts and bolts physiology, thing we all know turns out to be absolutely true, which is get the right amount of exercise and your brain gets marinated in endorphins and it really does feel good. And there's a hardcore biology explaining why it feels good. Exercise reduces stress, definitely.
In most circumstances, at home, work, or even play, stress carries a negative connotation. However, a totally stress-free existence may also have drawbacks. We could lose the ability to react to the different challenges that life throws at us. As counterintuitive as it sounds then, a degree of stress is essential for optimal health. But we need to be able to control it. We need to be able to switch it off when necessary. To supplement the physical exercise programs, more and more people are turning to the world of relaxation and meditation techniques for help. Certainly, practicing relaxation techniques can bring many benefits, although, like stress, it's very personal. Hence, the experience varies between individuals. Despite this variance, the medical fraternity recognize relaxation as a treatment for a number of stress-related ailments, such as hypertension, insomnia, asthma, chronic pain, cardiac arrhythmia, and phobic anxiety. Now, the physiological effects include a lower heart rate, lower blood pressure, lower blood cortisone levels. All of these changes are consistent with a generalized decrease in activity of the sympathetic nervous system. And they're distinctly different from the physiological changes observed when sleeping. We might think of watching television or reading a book as relaxing, but true relaxation needs to be learnt in order to effectively release tension from the muscles and to slow the breathing rate. Techniques include using words such as heavy and warm. There's progressive muscle relaxation, focusing your attention on various parts of the body to consciously release tension, and breathing techniques that help to instill calm. Now, for people who regularly practice relaxation techniques, it can also provide a heightened sense of self-awareness, clarity of the mind, anger control, very useful, can also help to strengthen the immune system. Now, relaxation differs from meditation in that it's primarily aimed at and also benefits the body, whereas meditation is actually a form of mental exercise based on the belief that the mind determines our quality of life. The two are linked, as relaxation is often the route to accessing meditation and could be a secondary effect of meditative practice. Much has been said and written about meditation, and it can take years to understand its exact nature. But the essence of meditation is in paying attention. It can be described as being a deep form of rest, relaxation, but still with a neurological awareness. It's characterized by moments of stillness that balance a life of activity. It allows us to practice detachment, being able to take ourselves outside our everyday thoughts. And it also gives an insight into the nature of subjective thought. Now, meditation's not exclusively Eastern, esoteric, mystical, or a religious exercise, but it's actually, like physical exercise, it's a means to an end. Meditation can be included as an essential part of a fitness routine, and even sitting for just 1 minute at the end of a workout can make a difference. As with exercise, a little of something is better than a lot of nothing. Now, the aim of meditation is to focus inward and to a large extent to forget about the body and allow the limbs and the physical body to become totally relaxed. While fully concentrated in meditation, it's possible to lose awareness of any pain or discomfort in the body, or to notice it and not even care. The more time spent in meditation, the more time the body remains relaxed. Some people find that meditating even reduces their need for sleep. It may sound counterintuitive again, but setting aside time for meditation can be even more important as our schedules seem to get busier by the day. Although there are different types of meditation techniques, there are two main categories of meditation: concentration and contemplation. So first, let's look at a concentrative technique. In order to aid concentration, it's possible to choose perhaps an object for our attention. For example, observing or counting breaths, using a repetitive sound such as chanting a mantra, or an image, maybe a candle flame. When you notice your attention beginning to wander, simply try to bring your attention back. This is the object of meditation, without judging yourself or worrying about it, but bring yourself back to what it is you're focusing on. The second technique, the contemplative technique, or mindfulness, is based on the underlying principle that most meditative techniques provide an individual with a means to gain first-hand insight into the way our mind works. Contemplative meditation normally builds upon the concentrative technique. Once the mind is calm, the object of concentration is put aside and the flow of mental images and sensations is observed as they just naturally arise. So, as alluded to earlier, in the area of relaxation and meditation, it's important to note that one size definitely doesn't fit all. Techniques that work for one person may well just leave another person confused or uncomfortable. So you should treat the practice as a journey of self-discovery. Ideally then, you should endeavour to evolve in this area by exposing yourself to learning a broad spectrum of practices. And here are a few you can try at your leisure. The stress-fighting endorphins released during exercise can also be unleashed by laughter. And surprisingly, your body can't distinguish whether the laughter is real or fake. So laughter therapy is a recognised technique that works in both group and individual situations and starts with a warm-up, usually a little bit of mobilising of the upper body, followed by a range of activities designed to get you giggling. Based on solid studies, blood samples taken from two groups revealed that cortisol in the subjects who watched a comedy show decreased more rapidly than in a control group. Research also revealed that the concentration of natural killer cells, a type of immune cell that attacks virus and tumour, is increased through laughter. These cells are suppressed if the body suffers consistent and long-term stress. Now, you'll no doubt already know that listening to music can be relaxing. Experts suggest that it's specifically the rhythm of the music that produces the calming effect, as it's thought that there's a link back to when we were in the mother's womb and we were influenced by the heartbeat. So listening to soothing music, therefore, we associate it with that very early, safe, relaxing, protective environment provided by our mother. Now, there's no single music genre that's good for everyone, and surprisingly, studies have revealed that some relaxation-type CDs actually produce adverse reactions in certain people. So, personal preference is key. Ideally, you'll want to sit or lie in a comfortable position, preferably headphones to avoid any distractions. And the feeling is, let the music wash over you. Allow it to rinse away the stresses of your day. Let your breathing slow and listen for repeating patterns in the music, or maybe spaces between notes. Try to observe what's going on there. Now, juggling work pressures, family commitments, and money is something we're all familiar with. But did you know that learning to juggle real objects can actually help you to better cope with those common stressors? By improving concentration skills, providing a link between the left and right brain, improving mental agility and problem-solving functions, we find that we can take our conscious and subconscious mind away from issues that cause mental malaise. It's a useful distraction, and juggling is a perfect vehicle for this. Surprisingly, it's easier than you think to master the basic 3-ball cascade. If your learning approach is step by step, now from there the fun really starts, because once you get the hang of that basic 3-ball cascade, you can start to get creative and develop a few tricks. So to start with, let's take just one ball. Yeah, just going to start with one ball. And the skill here is to get a consistent throw. So our first level, starting your dominant hand, is to practice sweeping the hand across to the tummy button and then letting the ball go. Yeah. So try to avoid throwing it from hand to hand. Yeah. Just simply sweep the hand across and let go. So you've got this kind of cupping movement like so. And what will happen then is the ball will go straight up in the middle like so. Now what we're aiming for here is a consistent throw. So ideally, it's always going to about head height, maybe slightly higher, always to the same height every time, in a rhythm. So that is your first level. So how about you press pause and get a little practice. Okay, so moving on to the second level. That seems easy, but it's important to get the throw consistent. So the second level, we're going to start again, throwing with the dominant hand. And all I'm going to ask you to do, and this is where it becomes a real mind-body exercise, you need to talk to yourself. Yeah? I want you to say, throw and catch. Yeah? Actually say it at the time you do it. What's going to happen is I'm going to throw and catch, but in order to allow me to catch, I'm going to drop this ball. So this is what happens. Throw, catch. That's all you need to do, simply drop the ball. Yeah? Should we try that again? Starting your dominant hand, we throw and catch. Now really, to make this work, to really get that mind-body link, you need to talk to yourself, okay? So I'm going to let you practice that a few times. Say to yourself, throw, catch. Just drop that other ball. Moving on to the next level, it's pretty much the same, only this time I'm still saying to myself, throw and catch, but instead of dropping the second ball, I'm just going to throw it. I'm not really fussed about where it goes. So again, starting your dominant hand, say, throw, catch. Throw, catch. But you see now I've thrown that other ball. Yeah? So you're still doing the same thing, saying throw and catch, but now I'm throwing that second ball. Throw, catch. Yeah? Okay, so have a little practice at that. Now you've probably guessed what's happening next. What I'm going to do now is to move on to the next level. That second ball, I want to catch it. So the way to do this is to say to yourself, throw, throw, catch, catch. Okay? Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Now, let's be honest, the first few times it's going to go all over the place. And this will apply to every stage. Once that happens, put one of the balls away and just take a little brain break. Go back to here, practice this, because if we don't have consistent throws from both hands, it's going to go completely awry. So, this is the level. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Speak to yourself while you're doing it. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Start in your dominant hand. Avoid throwing the ball from one hand to the other. Just sweep it across so that it goes up in the middle. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. I'll give you a moment to practice that level. We're getting closer now. Let's take the third ball. Okay. If you've not got these balls, oranges work. I actually learned to juggle with oranges. I would, as a tip, make sure you use something that doesn't break, and also move everything out of the way while you're practicing. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with 2 balls in your dominant hand. Now the secret here is to have one held near the heel of the palm and the other held towards the end of the fingers. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Exactly the same thing as you've just done. Throw, throw, catch, catch. But in order to allow me to catch the second ball, I'm going to drop the third ball. So it'll look like this. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Yeah? So I'm ending up exactly where I was before, but now I've dropped that third ball. Yeah? The beauty of juggling balls is they don't bounce and roll away. So if you've got tennis balls or golf balls, they could be all over the place. The beauty of these things is, and they're called thuds because that's the noise they make when they hit the floor. So throw, throw, catch, catch, and just drop that ball. Yeah? So it's still the same level as before, but we need to drop the ball. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Have a little practice. Okay, we're getting really close now. We're getting really close. So this time, still the same. Throw, throw, catch, catch. But, in case you hadn't guessed, we're going to throw the third ball. So, throw, throw, catch, catch. Just throw that third ball, let it go wherever it goes. So we're still doing throw, throw, catch, catch, but we're throwing the third ball. Yeah? So, throw, throw, catch, catch. Yeah? Don't worry about where that third ball goes. So we're just moving one level further than before. Should we try that again? Start with the 2 balls in your dominant hand. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw that other ball away. Okay, have a little practice. Remember, if it all goes completely belly up, take a brain break, practice that single arm throw, because it's all about having a consistent throw. Have a go. Okay, I think this is what they call the moment of truth. So, the secret now, and again, it's so important to talk because it's a mind-body link. The secret now is to say to yourself, throw, 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 throw. Yeah? That's all you've got to do. What should happen is throw, 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 throw. Yeah? You've just got to say to yourself, throw, 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 throw. Now, let's be honest. What's probably going to happen is we'll get a couple of the ways through and then the ball will go all over the place. You may find yourself walking forwards while you're doing it. Yeah? So, have a couple of goes and then go back, whether you've got it or not, to just a single ball. It's important to keep going back to this stage. Yeah? If it completely goes to pieces, let's go back to the stage before. Yeah? We can always drop back to the stage before. But trust me, the secret here is the mind-body link. If you say to yourself, throw, 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 lo and behold, you should be juggling. And that's when the fun really starts, because then we can start to do all sorts of little tricks with it. So that's your 3-ball cascade. Yeah? Only one way to do it. Practice. Now, don't worry if you don't get it right. Even just tossing a single ball back and forth will help to reduce stress. Now, if writing comes naturally to you, then take a blank piece of paper, write down your thoughts and feelings, as just this alone can really help you to clear your mind. This can be particularly useful before going to sleep or when you first wake up. Seeing things written down on paper can generally give you a fresh perspective. Now, the following techniques you can try. So perhaps you can try them right now. You can press pause and I'll give you a moment to have a go at them. I'm going to start with a physical technique, because stretching the muscles can release tension. So a couple of exercises you can do. Firstly, a little stretch for the neck, shoulders and back. So if you're sitting in a chair, you'll need to sit up comfortably. I'm going to show you how to do this, and you're going to hold these stretches for around 15 seconds. If you take one hand and press it down to the side, and take the ear to the shoulder, we'll start to feel a stretch through the neck. You're going to do that on both sides and hold for about 15 seconds. That really begins to release the tension through the neck. What we then do is take the hands up to about chest level, clasp them together in front, and just simply press forwards. And we feel the shoulder blades spread apart, the elbows are slightly bent. That's a really good way of reducing the tension through the upper back. And the opposite of that is to take both hands behind you, place them in the lower back, just above the buttocks, and keeping the tummy pulled in, squeezing the elbows towards each other and holding that position. What that's going to do is release the tension through the chest and through the shoulders at the front. So that's a very physical way of reducing tension through the muscles. Next, let's try a basic breathing exercise. If you place the palms on the rib cage at the side, right to right and left to left, the fingers are spread, and just as you take those deep breaths in and out, feel the rib cage expanding. Yeah? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to apply a little bit of pressure with the hands. As you inhale, you have to work that a little bit harder now through the respiratory muscles to expand the rib cage, and then relax. So try that a few times. That'll help you to relax through the whole upper body, but also it starts to calm the mind. And yoga classes are a great way to learn more breathing techniques. Now, another great technique, and this is effectively a concentrative meditation technique. It's a technique developed by Dr. Herbert Benson, a Harvard Medical School professor and a pioneer in the field of alternative medicine. In order to aid concentration, choose an object for your attention. For example, think of a word that helps you to relax. So it might be peace or calm, whatever it is. Each time you take a breath in, think of the word, say it to yourself slowly, and make it last the length of the out breath. Okay? Breathe in. As you exhale, say the word, make it last the length of the breath. Now, you may notice your attention begins to wander. Don't try to block out these incoming thoughts. Let them come, but then let them go and go back to focusing on your word. Yeah? Now, if you find difficulty choosing a word that works for you, you can do this with a candle, as we mentioned earlier. You can even do this when you're on the move, counting how many strides you walk with each in and out breath. It's a great technique for helping to reduce tension. So lastly, we'll try a method attributed to Laura Mitchell, a renowned London physiotherapist, who discovered that relaxation in the muscles could be initiated by certain mindful movements. Now, this follows a specific set of instructions, and you'll need to practice them to become familiar. Now, you'll notice that each movement command is followed by a stop, which is important as it ensures you cease moving that body part and prepare for the next joint action. So get yourself ready for this, because you're actually going to do this one with me now. So it is best done lying down, and you only need to hear me. So you could do that, but if not, you can still do it in a seated position. So let's get ready to try Mitchell's relaxation technique. This technique is best done lying down, but it can be adapted to a sitting position. Just make sure you're in a comfortable chair and you're sinking back into the chair. So we'll begin. Firstly, pull your shoulders towards your feet and stop. Now feel that the shoulders are further away from your ears. Your neck feels longer, and we've released the tension through the muscles in the neck and shoulders. Roll your elbows out and open and stop. Be aware of feeling the upper arms moved away from the rib cage. And the weight of both arms should now be resting on the support. Gently extend your fingers and thumbs and stop. Be aware of feeling the fingers slightly stretched, separated, and just gently touching the support. Turn your hips out and stop. Feel the thighs have rolled and the kneecaps are now facing slightly outwards. Just gently bend and extend and bend and extend the knees, just gently to find a comfortable position. And stop. Be aware of that comfort through the knees. Push your toes away from you. And stop. Release that and feel the heaviness of the feet. Begin to push your torso into the floor or the chair and stop. Be aware of your contact and the support of your body. Now push your head into the support and stop. Feel the contact in the head and also the support. Pull the jaw down and stop. Feel the teeth have separated. The jaw feels a little heavy and the lips are just touching. Now press the tongue downwards in the mouth and stop. Feel how that now releases the tension through the throat. The tongue should feel loose. Close your eyes, screw the eyes up tightly and stop. Now just let the eyelids gently rest over the eyes. Take a moment to enjoy the darkness. Now, beginning at the eyebrows, I want you to imagine, don't move, just imagine you are smoothing your fingertips up the forehead, into the hairline, over the hair, and down the back of the neck. Nice and slowly. And stop. Take a few moments to focus on your breath. Try to be aware of taking deeper, slower breaths. And when you're ready, just open the eyes and get used to the amount of light in the room. And slowly begin to return your mind to the present. And in your own time when you're ready, not in a rush, you'll sit yourself up and carry on about your day. If trying these techniques has triggered an interest in meditation for you, then remember the Great Courses offers another course, Mindfulness, with Professor Musi, and you might want to try that out. So, as I said, relaxation is a particularly individual domain, so the techniques we've just tried may or may not have worked for you. The fun is in finding out, so I hope you'll continue the journey we've just started, as it's essential to protect yourself from the debilitating effects of stress that we talked about earlier. The old maxim, prevention is better than cure, should not merely be the reason behind sticking religiously to your oral hygiene, but also applies just as readily to your relationship with the ogre that is stress. Now, the good news is you don't have to fly to a deserted island, you don't have to chant under waterfalls, or do yourself a mischief trying to fold your legs into the lotus position to release stress. Once you get started with these exercises that are designed to fit in around your working day, you'll soon be able to come up with a few more of your own. All you need to do is find a quiet space and take a little meaningful me time.